Hello folks, and welcome to another Richard Head Longbows video. This is part 4 of working on this Self Yew bow. If you missed the other parts, I'll put them up there on the card so you can have a look. The last time you joined us, which was part 3, we were looking at the tillering of this Self Yew bow, and I left you hanging, just like in an episode of Neighbours. We got to the point where I said we were going to start bracing the bow up, which I've done to a very small degree here, which is what we do when we're starting tillering. We do it piece by piece, little by little, so that's barely up to 3 inches there, so well under half what the ultimate bracing height would be. So this gives me an opportunity to start looking how this bow is going to be when it is braced up. And one of the things, fortuitously, as far as making videos go, is we've got one of the common problems that you've got to get around. It's not fortuitous for me because it means I've got to spend time doing it, but as I say, for you guys, it does mean we get to see one of the issues and see how we get around it. I don't know whether you can see from the way I'm holding this that there is actually a sideways twist. If I exaggerate it by turning it, it's actually twisting that way. So the bow's going around, curving around that way. So this side is curving out rather a lot. So what we need to do is take some off this side, which will hopefully bring it back round and make it a bit more straight again. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to check this bow, see where the points are. I'm going to turn the bow around and have a look from the other end as well. Sometimes you can see it more acutely. Don't know whether you can see that. So this time the bend is going on this side. It's coming out this side of the bow. Again, I don't know whether you can see that. It's a bit hard to get that right on this camera here. So there's a couple of points there, and also a bit generally. So I'm going to take some off this side. I'm going to mark it with a pencil and remove wood down that side. Forgive me again if I sound funny. I have got my mask on. I've also had a throat infection, so I'm not sounding my best. So we're going to mark this down this side. Now, not surprisingly, it's where we've got these knots, which of course means excess wood down this side, which might be causing us that problem, because the twist, if I hold the bow this way around, is on this inside curve. So the bow's going like that. It's bowing out that way, excuse the pun. So this side is currently weaker, so the force is favouring this direction because it's the of least resistance, if you like. It's going this way. So this side is a side we need to take some off to even that up, but this is the side that's got excess wood in these knots, these raised areas that I've left to take account for the knots in the wood there, which you can see explained in the other videos. So there we go. Let's unbrace this and take the wood off those sides and see if we can't even it up a bit. I mentioned in one of the other videos about these knots where you have to decide whether you are going to leave wood around them or not, whether you think they're going to remain and be a problem. Now this one here that I assumed was going to go through things like this happening through general work was going to disappear, and it pretty much is, especially now we have got to take some off this side. I'm going to take a little piece out through the handle as well. Wouldn't normally touch the handle, but I'm going to take a little piece out. There we are, that's almost now completely gone. There's another one of those knots there. Okay, so hopefully again that work may disappear. That's almost disappeared. So hopefully that's one that we'll get away with. And like I was mentioning in the other video, it's that decision between ones that you really just don't think are going to disappear and ones that hopefully are on the edge there that will. Okay, so I've just done a rough take off of wood down that side. And I'm just using the scraper to clean it up a little bit. I'm not going mad with how much I'm cleaning it up because I'm guessing with the amount of sideways bend that was in this, I'm going to have to do more work on it. Now, one of the other things I must mention with sideways bend, or twist, is that what the method I've used here to A, notice it, and B, to get around it, is by removing wood on the offending side, if you like, the stronger of the two sides. Now, one of the other reasons is that it could be bending in that way, is particularly when you're starting tillering, is that the bow isn't bending the way it should be enough, i.e. occasionally the bow can be still too thick this way, which will of course cause the bow to bend sideways the way we don't want it to bend. So be careful when dealing with twists that you aren't actually causing more of a problem, because you may find the bow you just simply haven't tillered it enough yet. You haven't removed enough wood off the belly to actually get the bow bending in the correct way. It's always worth checking with something like these to actually check down the length of the bow, just see that it is actually, you've got the correct thickness going all the way down the bow. It's always worth checking that. Okay. Alright, again, so just braced up a little bit. Let's get it on the tiller, and we can see how this is going to look now. Okay, let's find our packing to protect the back of the bow there. So we put this hook on, we can put it there temporarily to hold that in place. And use our little shim here just to even the bow up on the tiller, get it approximately even. We're not going to worry too much at the moment, so really we're just going to work this in just to see if we can get rid of that twist and see roughly where we are with things. Okay, let's take a look. Got the other camera on there so we can get a closer look. Now, I'm not looking at an awful lot at the moment, really. I'm just drawing it a bit, really, getting some of that work in. Okay, let's take that down off the tiller and let's have a quick look and see whether that's made any difference to that sideways twist that we had there. Okay, again, see if I can get this in the right position on the camera for you. Now I can see that actually it has. I don't know again whether I can get this correct on the camera for you guys. And you can see that's a lot straighter than it was. You can also put the bow onto the ground, have a look down it. So it was like that, if I exaggerate it. Don't know again whether that's coming out. There we are. It's now come across a bit more, so the string is sitting a little bit better down the bow. Okay, that's great. I think what we'll do then is brace it up a little bit more and allow us to see what this bow is doing, get it back on the tiller and really see what the next stages are as far as tillering the bow. We've now got that to about 5.5, so again an inch off full bracing height, so we're not anywhere near really the full bracing height, but it's a lot more than we had it. Let's try and get that string level. Okay, it's not too far off. Okay, let's have a look at it now. Okay, what am I looking at here? What are we seeing? Right, we've got some areas here and here, so the immediate either side of the handle stretching out probably 4 inches or so is actually quite stiff. Don't know whether you can see there, not a lot's happening in that area, which is also almost meaning that regardless of how, so I've got it drawn up there, but still from about here and here there's very little happening from there to where it's drawn. Very little movement. So that's an area we're going to need to look at. Oops, sorry, bashing the camera there. Now, other areas of stiffness. So looking at this top limb, we've got here where these knots are. So this area here is also quite stiff. And you can see when the bow is just there like that, that top limb is looking a little bit tight. the gap between the string and the bow is much shorter than the bottom limb there. We need to even this gap up a bit more. This gap's quite large. It goes down to quite thin there. See that difference? So we need to work on that top limb and say in those areas. The bottom limb, considering it's got that kink, the natural flare of this area here, that bottom limb's actually coming round quite nicely. So we're going to look at those areas in the top and also that handle section and see what happens. And for the sake of argument, we may as well measure it. So we've got this top limb. Let's go out, say, 8 inches, which is there, and then go up. So it's about 5, 5 and 1 from the belly of the bow to the string. That's the top limb. Let's go 8 inches on the bottom, and 5, 5 and 2. Okay, so this limb, this top limb, needs to be bending more than the bottom. Now at the moment that's the other way round. So we need, definitely it's this top limb needs the work on it. As I say, we'll work in those areas where we analysed it on the tiller there. So I'm going to take a bit out of this handle section, a bit out of where these knots are in this top limb, and see if that makes a difference. I'm going to move over to the smaller tools there to work around these knots a bit easier. Now, that's interesting. Can you see here where we did have a knot? That's now disappeared. So I can probably remove most of this lump of wood. Whereas this one, that one ain't going anywhere. So there we are. So we had another one disappear. That's quite fortunate. But before I wildly go away removing this lump of wood, because I have been taking account of it in the tillering, I'm going to leave it there and see how much of it I can remove. Right, let's get this back braced up. In fact, what I'm going to do, because it's looking reasonable, is I'm actually going to increase this bracing height, probably get it up to somewhere near what it should be on a finished bow of this type. So let's put it up, say about 1 inch there on the string, and see what difference that makes. The amount that you alter the string by, infuriatingly, doesn't always seem to directly correlate to what the ultimate bracing height is. Don't ask me why. I'm sure there's some maths bods out there which can fill us in on that one. Okay, let's brace this up, see what difference this has made to the bracing height. Okay, not that much. What do we got? So just over 5.5. So yeah, see, it hasn't altered it all that much. But let's get it up on the tiller and see how it looks now. Okay, let's just work that in. That work that we've done, just get it moving. Okay, now that's not made a huge difference to the handle section, so we can probably take some more out of there. And we are still stiff. The bit through here on this top limb, so I can probably take more of that lump out, which is now the knot has actually disappeared. So I can probably take a bit more out through there. But let's take that down. Let's see if the measurements are any different now. Okay, let's see what the measurements are like now. So we're going to go out 8 inches again. Top limb is now about 5 3/8. Bottom limb is probably about the same, so I've got that knot there. So actually they are now a bit more even. So that does mean we still need to take a bit more out of this top limb, which I will do, and probably also a little bit more either side on these handles. So let's do that. there's that knot area that's now not a knot. I think there's a poem or a tongue twister in that, so let's remove some of this. Okay, that's some of that removed, but as I was saying, because I've been taking account of that in the tillering, I'm not going to remove all of that. Okay, and now using our grain here, our loops of grain, we have got a long loop running through there, through here. So I really need to draw that one back. Hopefully that'll get rid of this stiff area. Okay, let's get that back up and have another look. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. No, it's gone away. Oh, thank God for that. Let's take the opportunity and get this braced up a little bit more. Okay, we're getting there. It's nearly there. Okay, again, let's just work that in. Okay, we've got a lot more movement in that middle section of the top limb here now. It's coming round a lot better. And we've got a bit of movement in the handle section now. Okay, so let's take that down and see what the measurements are. Alright, let's do the same again. So this is the top limb. We're going to go up 8. And we're nearly at 6. And the bottom limb. Okay, so 5 and 6. So yeah, that's now about right. We've got about a 2/8 difference between this top limb and the bottom limb. Yeah, I'm much happier with how the shape is coming on now. It's starting to do what I want it to do. As you may or may not know from previous videos, I tend to leave the tip areas a bit stiff, a bit meatier, because what I will obviously be doing is putting the nocks on, the horn nocks, which will go on here, the top and bottom, and to slender the ends in to meet that knock. So these will start bending more once I put those nocks on. So at the moment the tiller may look a bit funny as far as the tips are concerned. So that really is the next stage now for me, and also it will mean I will do the final tillering and the all the messing about bits, the bits that can drive you mad trying to perfect it, once I've put those nocks on and I'm starting to get the full shape that I'm going to get from this bow, as I say, once those nocks are on. So thanks for watching, folks. That's part 4. That's got us up to pretty much bracing height on this bow. We've got rid of a twist, which has now pretty much gone away. Just check that again. Yeah, that's almost gone. So again, with the final tillering, once the nocks are on, I can look at that again. So yeah, we're getting there, folks. So join me next time, where I will hopefully have probably already got the nocks on, depending on my schedule, because you have been watching my What Happens in the Workshop this week videos, which is where you get to follow along with whatever it is I'm doing, and it happens to be this bow. I can't film every stage because of, well, all the other bits and pieces I've got to do with the business. So hopefully, yeah, when you join me again, we'll have the nocks back on and I'll walk you through the final tillering and the bits and pieces that I need to do to get this finished. So yeah, please subscribe if you'd like to, and join us for more videos. There's plenty of them there, and watch the other parts of this one if you haven't seen them already. And there's plenty of other bow making videos that I've done, and arrow making, and a bit of fun along the way. Thanks, folks, and I'll see you again soon.